Hello, my name is Rujo Patel, and this is Design Manufacturing Project 3, submitted to Dr. Hassan Rashidi for fall 2024. So the motivation behind this project is we were told to choose 5 topics from this course. And I believe I wanted to choose 5 topics that support sustainability. I'll be discussing how sustainability principles are increasingly central for product design and manufacturing, and we'll explore concepts how design for recycling, environment, and sustainable manufacturing can help make products more eco-friendly across their life cycle. We'll also look at how products' life cycles itself with a sustainable lens and consider how material properties influence sustainable choices. So a little bit of the order that will be going on into this will be as follows. So to support 5 topics of sustainability, we'll be going these 5 topics. We'll start with for recycling, then we'll go into design for environment, sustainable manufacturing techniques, then we'll go into a product life cycle geared towards sustainability based off the 3 first points. Finally, we'll finish up with our 5th and final topic, material properties with sustainability in mind. So let's start with design for recycling, or DFR. DFR is about ensuring that each part or component of the product can be easily and economically recycled. That means considering recyclability right from the design phase. By planning how materials will be reused or safely disposed of, will reduce land mass fills, as well as lower demands for raw new materials, which also conserves energy and resources. So a great example of this are smartphones. Design for recycling in smartphones would include choosing materials that can be easily separated efficiently and design components that can be easily dismantled. Manufacturers might also use components that require less energy to recycle, like certain plastics and metals. And to avoid adhesives that make separation harder, ultimately, DFR can reduce environmental impacts while supporting a circular economy, where resources are reused and waste is minimized. Now let's move on to design for environment, or DEF. While DFR focuses on end-of-life recyclability, DFE considers the entire environmental impact of the product from material sourcing to disposal. DEF aims to make products that have minimal impact on the environment, emphasizing renewable resources, non-toxic materials, and energy-efficient processes. For instance, designing a product with low energy consumption during its use phase aligns with DEF principles. Another example could be choosing biodegradable renewable energy materials that leave a similar environmental footprint. DEF encourages designers to think about the long-term impact of their product will have on the planet and aims to create products that are sustainable in every possible way. Once again, a great example of this is as shown in the slide right here. Many of our paper products have now become extremely biodegradable and extremely easy to recycle. And if they were to go into land masses, they're biodegradable. So the need for extra processes to recycle is no longer needed as they can biodegrade within the environment itself, going back to the earth and helping fertilize soil and such. Up next is sustainable manufacturing. Sustainable manufacturing takes these design principles and brings them to the factory floor. Sustainable manufacturing involves using processes that minimize waste, reduce the consumption of non-renewable resources, and lowers the emissions. This includes energy-efficient machinery, reducing scrap material, and proper waste disposal. In many cases, sustainable manufacturing also involves using safer and non-toxic materials to protect workers and the environment. For example, some automotive manufacturers have started using water-based paints instead of solvent-based paints, which are harmful for the environment and human health. Companies may also invest in renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power to run their facilities. By implementing sustainable manufacturing practices, companies can produce products that are not only high quality but also responsible towards the planet. And I would like to also point out a great example that I've seen small YouTubers and creators of such use is taking plastics such as plastic water bottles, milk jugs, things of that nature, stripping it down to extremely thin size, and converting it into filament for 3D printers, such as this thumbnail shows. This is a great example of sustainable manufacturing that isn't found at factory level, but in a individual slash household level. Stuff like this allows for sustainable manufacturing to help immensely with sustainability, as we're finding more and more ways to reuse the products around us and to create with them. And so overall, sustainable manufacturing helps minimize waste, reduce the consumption of non-renewables, reduce scrap materials, and proper waste disposal with energy-efficient machinery allows for sustainable manufacturing to thrive. So now we will be going over our fourth topic, which encompasses a lot of the previous topics that I've explained before. However, we'll also just talk about how a product is developed, introduced into the market, is grown, matures, and the ultimate decline. And we'll talk about how these stages can all have bits and pieces of sustainability inside of it, as well as what these stages mean in general. During the development stage, sustainability is prioritized by selecting eco-friendly materials and designed for longevity and efficiency. This step is crucial in setting the groundwork for an environmentally friendly product. So some ways we would go about doing this is selecting materials that are already used heavily within the recycled phase or recycled products, such as composites, papers, glass, ceramics, items that do not harm the earth and do not develop additional harms to human as well, or their natural life. And so one thing about development is important to consider the DFRs and DFEs designed for recycling and designed for environment. Both of those play a big role in understanding what kind of development of a product should go through, as well as what materials and manufacturing techniques to use to make sure to sustain sustainability as well as create profit. And after development, of course, comes the market introduction. At this point, companies can market their products' sustainable qualities, helping consumers make greener choices. Effective eco-conscious marketing can drive demand for sustainable products, supporting a more responsible market. Now, the use of sustainability within this phase of market introduction can be absolutely crucial in growing an audience and growing popularity to your product. Oftentimes, market introductions are used to show how one's life can become easier, but another way of gaining followers is by showing how this product can make the earth better. Rather than putting it on the individual, it puts it on the entirety of the human world. And that is an incredible market point that can be used to sell the product. As production scales up, growth and maturity of product are bound to come. Sustainable manufacturing practices like energy efficient production reduces environmental costs associated with increased output. Continuous improvements in processes help ensure that as demand grows, sustainability remains at the forefront. And going back to kind of the DFR designed for recyclability, that can help a ton during this phase of growth and maturing due to the fact that resources that are recycled can be extremely cheap or extremely easy to fund. Therefore, once again, it's proving that sustainability allows for easier practices and easier growth and maturation of a product if done correctly. It also reduces harm while increasing output as there isn't as much risk involved when using these techniques slash materials. And finally, the decline of the product. Whether this is the decline of the life of the product or the overall product itself among the population, the fall of a product happens regardless of what the product is. It's gonna happen eventually. For sustainable products, however, this decline can also be output to give back. It allows for additional products to be made from the decline in the recycling or environmental design of these products, giving back to the consumer and also the product owner, allowing them to reutilize this product, the resources, and make something new. One point that we talked about a lot during this topics of sustainability are materials. When choosing a material with sustainability in mind, designers look for materials that have lower environmental impact across the product lifecycle. Some key properties to consider are renewability, non-toxicity, which are the obvious ones, and then also not so obvious ones, strength to weight ratio and energy impact. those last two ones are very important for the product's integrity and the product to be able to serve the consumer. For example, choosing recycled aluminum instead of virgin aluminum reduces energy needs for production by 95%. Similarly, opting to biodegradable plastics over conventional plastics can reduce long-term environmental pollutions, showing how important it is to choose a material that is sustainable.